We are back with another episode of Tuffy Talk. Just want to say hey to everybody. I This is new for me, so everybody bear with me. I'm
Get
glad
it. Let's go.
I'm glad to see
Already a great
everybody.
job. Already a great job.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Awesome.
Pretty good.
Awesome.
Good,
I see
good.
the Pop Tarts in the background there, Mackenzie.
Right? We went from like 11 to one box now. So me and mom have been killing the Pop Tarts.
My wife, Lindsay, was like, she's like, honestly, I've eaten so many Pop Tarts this last week or two. It's like,
I really have. I've ate more than I have since I was like 8 or 9. But
Keeping Pop Tarts in business, giving them that
Right?
money to do the Pop Tart Bowl.
exactly, right? We have a little mascot for the day. His name's
Oh,
Finley.
oh,
New
nice. He
addition
is
to
cute. Now, my wife, Lindsay, would love that dog right there.
new addition to the family. So
For
I'm gonna
anyone watching, Ken's, what kind of dog is that?
he is
Or listening, excuse me.
a teacup Yorkie.
A teacup Yorkie.
She grew up
So,
with
like when you
Yorkies.
hold him, do
There
you
go.
just like put your pinky up?
You honestly can. He's like 1 pound. So
He's really
you
cute.
could if you wanted to. Um, but we have a lot to discuss in today's show, so let's get it going.
Let's do it. First, it's one of those things. We just kind of gotta talk about this. It's just part of life, but just kind of want to give a shout out and thoughts and prayers to the Carolina basketball family, and of course Eric Montross, who unfortunately passed away at the age of 52 due to cancer. I think we are rivals, but I think our biggest rival is cancer, right? We are all affected or afflicted with someone that we know through this tragic disease. But Eric Montross was he was a ball player. I when I think of Eric Montross, you can't but help but think about all those Duke rivalry games where he gets bloodied up and just a really great basketball player. But Macon, I'll throw it to you first and kind of just maybe give me your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I did not. Honestly, I kind of forgot who he was because I just forgot for a minute there. But I as I was looking back over the clips, like, oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
Like,
he was a monster.
Yeah, he's really good. Honestly, what's really interesting to me is how many of the NC State media folks have been reposting this, and emotionally, they're kind of this one that kind of hits hard for them. And I see a bunch of my friends who are UNC fans who are the same thing, and from what they said, there's fans who have gotten to meet him in like a passing moment, and they're like, he was the nicest guy.
Yeah.
I know one guy got to meet him and said it made you feel like you were best friends in like 10 seconds, and that just kind of speaks to the kind of character of the person he was. So that's cancer sucks, and that's just the way I would put that. So sad news for them, and putting rivalry aside, that's not that's really sad news to hear.
Yeah, for sure. 52 years old, leaves behind a
young.
wife and kids. It's just, we're thankful that we have the V Foundation that's kind of helping to kind of raise awareness and trying to find, cures for some of these different cancers. And, cures can't come fast enough. And we're losing way too many good people in this world due to this horrible disease. But Lindsay, I know you're a Carolina person, and I don't know, maybe did you have any kind of stories maybe running across him doing, some of the stuff that you did with the Daily Tar Heel?
Yeah, so this definitely hit the Carolina community hard. Eric Montross, even past his playing career, was a big man around campus, literally, but also figuratively. He was the voice of basketball for quite a long time. So I would see him that way. And then he was also the guest speaker in one of my classes, my final semester. And yeah, people are right. He's very personable, very easy to get along with, very beloved by the UNT basketball community. His family stayed local all these years and would show up to sporting events and were just very beloved by the community. And this was something that, UNT basketball has been raising awareness about Eric Montross and his fight with cancer since the beginning of their season. And yeah, he's just a great guy. This sums it up. He was a beast on the court. We all called him Bloody Montross for years after he stopped playing.
Yeah.
So it's really sad news to hear, but I hope that his family knows they're still part of like the Carolina community and stays around UNC basketball.
For sure. For sure.
Cancer sucks. I mean,
Yeah.
being from a long time ago, I can relate to it after everything with my dad, but it's just, I can't imagine what that family's going through right now. I can't imagine what the Carolina community is going through right now.
Yeah.
Huge prayers to them, and I just hope that they can do what Wolfpack Nation did for me, just back around that family, message them, give them support, let them know that you're thinking about them, and whatever you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, thoughts and prayers are out to the Carolina basketball family and Eric Montross' family as a whole. So, all right. Well, I mean, that's kind of not a great way to start a show, but Kent, we're going to throw it back to you. And I don't know where we want to start. There's tons of things to talk about. So you're leading the circus tonight. So tell us where you want to go.
I think we should start with what everybody's excited about, that recruiting, red light, everything going on in the football world right now.
Yeah.
100%.
I think it's a big deal. I mean, that was it.
Well, hold on. I'm producing the show here, so let's make sure we get our proper graphics here. So we'll go to those Tuffy tweets of the week.
Greg, this is not nice, man. It's just not.
I know it's the holiday season, but you're gonna have to deal with it.
All good. Oh, now you did it right.
See, our fearless leader will be proud.
Yes. Man, this is huge. I think State has gotten like 4 guys in the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, this guy excites me more than anybody because really just looking at stat lines, all ACC player. NC State gets running back Jordan Waters to transfer from Duke to NC State. And I know Inside Pack Sports had this announced first.
Yep.
And Jordan Waters got on the show and announced it there with those guys, and saw Tom Lavolsi was on there. It was really cool, man. I got on. It was like 3 o'clock. I was at work and I stepped away for a second. I totally did.
Had a union break.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. He basically had like overalls on when he was announcing.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
I asked him. There's a couple of things I thought were cool. He said one, he wanted to stay home. So if he's a guy who could really get national attention, he wanted to stay home and play because he's a North Carolina kid. The other part that was cool was when they asked him, like, so I'm assuming you're sitting out the rest of the bowl game. He's like, no, I'm playing for Duke. And they're like, oh, wait, seriously? He's like, yeah, I'm playing. I got to finish what I started. And I thought it was really, really cool because to me, it's a lot of respect because that's shows some loyalty there he has to them, even though he's transferring. So loyalty may be the right word, but it's like, he's like, it's all business and they know that. And it's family at Duke too. So I thought that was really cool. And to me, it's like, that's really cool for a guy to play in a bowl game, to finish out like one last ride with his team there. And that's just really cool to me. I'm really excited about what he brings on the field for State. I think it was 12 touchdowns and like 800 something yards rushing.
Yeah. I think he had like 759 and 12 touchdowns. And he can catch the ball. I don't know what he had for receiving yards, but I would bet that he's over 1,000 all-purpose yards.
Yeah, I can go look at the stats we're talking, but that's my thoughts on that.
Well, I think there's a huge addition, and I think it totally does say a lot that he's staying and playing that.
Oh, I think we lost you.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked a lot recently about like the sense of loyalty with NIL and people transferring so much, but I think it says a lot that he says, I want to finish what I started. I came here to play a year of football and I'm finishing out my year of football. And I also think it's special when you have a North Carolina kid who wants to stay in North Carolina. Says a lot about, our football culture and the culture of Raleigh. And I think he can bring a lot to that if this is kind of his home already in the state that he grew up in. So along with it being a great addition, just on the field stats wise, I'm really excited for that side of it, that mentality that I'm finishing what I started. And also like, this is my home and I'm going to represent.
Knowing Jordan personally, he's that type of guy. Like I wouldn't have expected anything else, him not playing in their bowl game. That also speaks a lot for that team who, I mean, is welcoming him back to play, knowing he's leaving. But I used to pick on him years ago. I was like, you should come to state, be the next number 7 at running back, kill it on the field. And he always denied it. But today I messaged him and I was like, told you who knew it would be 2 years later, but he's excited. He's already been to Raleigh multiple times. He's already made connections with a lot of the guys. He said, I think he's a great asset to this team. Like even what he did against us this year. I mean,
Right.
that's good. Now that he's doing it for us, is going to be a lot more. It's going to be a lot better for us. Happier.
I think his longest run of the season is 83 yards, and I think that was against State.
That was against us. Yeah.
It's kind of that old additive. If you can't beat them, join them. So
right.
Fair.
You know,
I mean, I'll give another little stat. Go ahead, sorry. I'm cutting you off, Greg. Go ahead.
No, the only thing I was going to say, because I know we want to get to some numbers. It's kind of convenient how that number came free.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe he does get to play 7. That'd be sweet. But I was looking at his numbers real quick. So career last year, like Greg said, 12 touchdowns, 753 rushing yards on 142 carries. That average is 5.3 yards per carry. That is really good.
That's super good.
Really good. Yeah. And so usually, for those who don't know, you want like around
4.5.
3.5 to 4 is like a solid number, right? You're a good running back. If you're over 4, you're like, okay, but he's averaging over 5 yards per carry. So that means like twice touches the ball, it's a first down. So big time player. I looked at his career too. He's gone up in carries as his career has gone on. From 2019, he only had 2 carries to now 142. He's averaging for his career over 5 yards a carry. So
he's a converted wide receiver too.
Yeah.
Right. And I'd be curious to know. I have to go look at his, more significantly his stats, but I'd be curious to see what his receiving stats look like, because I don't know the answer to that one. I wonder if that's a little bit of an untapped thing for him.
Yeah.
He has 5 or maybe 5 receptions or 7 receptions on the season. Yeah. He has 7 receptions on the season, so he barely has anything. 132 receiving yards on 7 receptions. That's really good too. So State's going to have a really good weapon there. I would imagine this is your RB1 for next season. And you probably right now, as things stand, you have Waters. I would imagine it's Raphael and then Mims.
If Mims comes back,
right? I mean,
he did graduate this past weekend, so
right, he could. I mean, this probably doesn't help if State were to add another running back in the portal. Then it depends on who it is, but I mean, you got to think at this rate. Not just I like Dilber a lot, but he's probably not playing as much at this point because this is a big time running back, and I could see Mims or Raphael kind of dividing up the time, but a little bit there to support him. But I got to imagine this is your RB1. I feel like you don't bring this guy in if he's not. So
yeah, I feel like if he's going to have to get beat out to not be RB1, and I think that's going to be extremely hard to do for him.
Well, and he's got an all ACC kind of accolade to his thing. He's got double-digit touchdowns. None of the other guys are even scratch that. So
yeah.
He only had
this your guy.
Yeah, he only had the 7 receptions, but they were for 130 yards, which is an 18.6 average. So when he caught it, he was explosive.
He was gone.
So, all right. So moving on, we'll talk about the next. Yeah. We don't even have all of them. They were happening so fast. So, but we'll touch on them if we don't have a tweet. So this is kind of a twofer.
I'm excited for this one. I really am. Knowing that we were trying to get Cooley a year ago before he went to Louisville, and now that he's coming back, I mean,
Maryland.
Maryland, and I'm excited for that. I haven't seen Corey Coley play at all, but I've seen everybody else. But I've heard he's really good. So, got to watch some tape on that.
So just for those who are listening, what we're looking at here is it's a tweet with Tamarcus Cooley and Corey Coley, both transferred from Maryland to NC State, and those are two of the 4 commits we received today. To your point, I haven't really watched a ton of Coley. I did look up his recruiting profile. He did have some really nice offers coming out of high school. I saw, I think State offered, but I even saw like a team like Notre Dame offer him. Good player supposedly. I don't know how much he played. I think he was a depth piece at Maryland.
Yeah.
he was.
Cooley basically redshirted. He has a full 4 years left, so that's a big get.
That's a
You'll
big
have
time
him
get,
in the
yeah.
fold. Yeah, you'll have him in the fold for at least the next 3, potentially 4. Coley, I would imagine he has either 3 or 4, probably 3. I don't think he redshirted this year, but yeah, we've been adding a lot of offensive pieces, and now we're kind of flipping over to the defensive side. We'll talk about another one that we got today as well here in a minute, but I'm excited. Like I said, the first week or so, was all offense, and we ordered good grief. We got another one today
We ordered.
in Waters, but I just think this is just really smart. Use of the portal. We're addressing areas that we definitely needed some assistance with. That's another recruit. No, I'm just kidding.
You're on the Savage Bowl text message thread, is what it is.
Yeah.
Greg.
But yeah, I'm really excited. I am curious to see how these two plug in, if they're going to, be starters or not, depending on what happens with Shaheem Battle and Aiden White. So that will be an interesting thing to keep up with over the next couple of weeks as we get through the bowl season.
So let me go ahead. Sorry. Nope, you could.
Having them and Aiden and Shaheem, even if whoever's the depth person there, we're set.
Sisse probably is probably your depth corner.
Yeah,
or your nickel.
We're going to be solid on that part, and I think that's what a lot of people were worried about going into this offseason is defense. So the fact that we added these two guys who played together at Maryland, so they already know how each other play and stuff, how close they are. So it's not going to be like having to learn how each other plays, having to learn to play with each other. So I think that's a huge benefit for us as well.
Yeah, it's really nice to see all these pieces kind of come together so early in the offseason. I mean, we haven't even played a bowl game yet. We already feel comfortable and set for next season, which is a really nice feeling. And like Ken said, getting guys that are former teammates, I think already that bond is there and allows us to work and move forward and get ready for the season without having to worry about establishing that bond and them learning about how the other plays, how the other communicates on the field, things like that. So I'm really excited about a lot of the guys we picked up this week, and I feel like we're in pretty good shape so far.
And then I guess, did we win the unofficial trade?
I think we definitely did.
It's TBD, but
yeah.
I don't know. I think we did, but I don't know, man.
I think we did too.
I think it depends. I mean, it really depends to me on how they all play out. Maybe
sure.
Maryland is a good fit for MJ. You never know. Go ahead.
It also depends on McCall, right? Because I mean, really, that's the centerpiece. You want to make sure that your quarterback performs there. I know he wasn't part of the unofficial trade, but you did give up you didn't give up a quarterback. Let's be real. But
Logan says he already knows who won the trade. So to me, I think I'm going to put a pin in this for like the next few years to see what happens with, particularly like to Marcus Cooley, like because he's a 4-year guy. Like, what does his career look like 4 years from now? I mean, 2028, 29, 29, when he's there. So he will. We'll see, but I think it's got potential. At the very least, you got 2 depth pieces to 1 depth piece. So, and I like that. So,
yeah, and they can play multiple positions, right? So you've got the defensive side, you got special teams, whereas MJ was only going to be playing quarterback. So that is good there. All right, so let's move on to the next. Who we got here?
It's just like a slideshow.
Yeah. Actually, let's hold off on this one. Let's talk about the other 2. I'm going to put a pin in this one, so we'll come back to that because that's actually a good piece to talk about. But go ahead, Ken. Do you want to talk about the other 2 commits we got in the last couple of days?
That tight end from UConn. I'm excited for him.
Yeah,
Jolie.
Yeah, and you said it right.
I did.
Right.
Yeah,
Jolie, because
it's like the Dolly Parton song.
Right. And I thought Justin Jolly sounded cool. I was like, okay, Justin Jolly.
I did too. I thought the Jolly would be great. But
I saw people doing the Holly Jolly Christmas. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
That would be perfect. But seeing that he boosted our transfer class up that much with just his commit, like that's huge. And him watching his film at UConn, even when we played them this year, I mean, he's impressive. He has great hands and he's got great speed. So I'm excited to see him play.
Yeah, he's a piece that they didn't really use a lot of in the beginning of the season, but as the season went on, he was much more in line with the offense. And Kens, you kind of talked about the transfer portal rankings. You know, we're solid top 5 right now in multiple
he's in here.
Oh, look at that, Justin.
Hey, Justin, what's up, man?
Making excitement.
Justin has been making the round, so man, appreciate you stopping in on the chat. He was on Pack Pride, and then was on Locked On earlier tonight. So
we need to have Justin. Need to have him on the show maybe next time, Justin.
We'll reach out. Maybe we'll DM you and maybe set up an exclusive interview with you if you be up for that.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see him ball out against Tennessee. That's going to be great.
I know he's listening. So I saw when he committed, I saw a bunch of Tennessee fans comment on his post or whatever it was. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, we got to play this guy again." Like he's about to go off on us again, isn't he? So stuff like that.
Lit up.
So I like his highlights, man. I don't know what the coaches say, but to me, and I'm not saying because he's on the show right now, I really do feel like he is a guy that you can kind of like you're going to be able to move all around, like almost like a snake in the grass a little bit. Like he's going to be able to kind of go up, play a little bit deep, cut across the middle. He kind of comes across to me like a Trent Penix vibe, but I don't know what State has in mind for him. They could have something totally different. That's just what I see when I look at him. So
I was thinking of a like Jalen Samuels type vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
what he reminds me of too. Yeah,
I can see that.
I'm excited.
And those are really big pieces. I think Jalen Samuels panned out a little better because he was healthier, really. Mm-hmm. I mean, but yeah.
So this is what excites me. It's just another weapon to where it makes your other weapons that much more dangerous, right? So this is what KC needs, right? This is what Wesley Grimes needs
together. Oof.
Yeah, it's just about who do you want to pick your poison and lose against. So I am super excited. But anyway, any other last thoughts? Justin, I know you would probably love for us to talk to you about you for the next 45 minutes, but we have so much to talk about.
We're going to do a film breakdown for the next 45 minutes.
Right.
Well, speaking of film breakdown, I know our friend of the show, Philip Danford, has definitely got some stuff out there. If you're not giving him a follow, definitely check that out. He's been breaking down a lot of great film on these guys coming in. So if you haven't checked that out, make sure you go do that. But let's come back to this one tweet that we were talking about, because here's the thing. We've been talking about all these transfer portal guys coming in, but we haven't really talked about the actual incoming prep class, which is borderline top 25. So this one is a nice one. So Ken's go for it.
I am extremely excited for Cedric Bailey. I think that he is going to fit great into our offensive system. I think that with all the rumors going around of him possibly not coming to State, that tweet that he put out saying he's 100% locked in, I think that made all of Wolfpack Nation get a sigh of relief. I think him coming in right now, even if he isn't the QB1 right now, him being able to learn the playbook and learn all the plays and everything, that's going to be huge for him when he does start. And I think that that's going to be a huge piece. And I think he's going to be a really good quarterback in the ACC when he does get that chance to play.
Yeah. For anyone just listening at home, this tweet is about, it says, proud to announce that I've been named an Under Armour All-American and will be playing in the UA game. Extremely grateful. He is now one of 3 Pack players that will be playing in this game, to go with Jonathan Paylor and
Terrell Anderson.
I think I can't remember.
Terrell.
Yeah, if you want to give us a look up, Macon, you're always quick on the Googs. But yeah, this is I'm just trying to think of guys that have recently played in this game that have come to State. I want to say that I want to say Drake Thomas was in this game not too long ago. I remember who was that running back? Frazier. Johnny Frazier was in this game. So it's a really big deal to have one guy, much less three. And I believe they were all on the offensive side of the ball. No. The other one was a defensive guy.
Brody Barnhart?
No, I want to say it was Assad Brown, maybe.
Oh, maybe. I'll look it up. Don't worry. I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I believe it was 2-1. But just really exciting. That he should be committing, I think next week, right? Is that when National Signing Day is? Next Wednesday? Why is that stick in my head?
I think it's
the
next
20th,
Wednesday. Oh, the
20th.
20th.
Oh, this Wednesday then.
So this Wednesday.
I knew it was Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay, so
This
so
We don't have to wait that long then.
yeah.
very
He said he said he was in, and so we'll start seeing these guys start officially signing their names on their national letters of intent, which again, if everyone turns out the way it is, this is a potentially top 25 recruiting class with a top 5 transfer portal class. I would be curious to see who of these guys can make immediate impacts like Casey did this year. I think if you're thinking along those lines, some of those wide receivers that are committing probably could be some of those candidates.
And I think people automatically thinking about the transfer portal and these guys coming in, we completely forget that we have a KC Concepcion that's going to ball out again next year. I mean, our team, I'm mostly excited for this team more than I have been in the past in a long time. Like, I think that we are finally getting the pieces that we need to be able to make it far. And I really think that this could be the year. I know I say it every year, but I mean it this year. I think this could be the year that we get to that ACC championship game.
Are we going undefeated again this year?
This is where we actually believe it, right?
This is where we're actually going undefeated.
But for real this time.
12-0, baby.
So anyone listening in, Logan here in the comments said, massive get. I think having a tall QB that can run will be huge. This tweet got me excited. Hear about Cedric Bailey. And yeah, I feel like we're talking a lot about the transfer portal just because it's that time of year. You know, it's open. We're getting all of these guys from the transfer portal and it's very exciting. But that's not to take away from the guys we have coming in, these young guys. It's exciting to see the combination of the young guys that are putting in the work in high school and getting ready to come to state to learn and get ready to be on that big stage along with our transfer portals. I'm with Kenzie. I'm more excited than I've been in a while.
And I think all the Wolfpack Nation is just losing their mind over this.
Yeah, it was Assad Brown. You were right.
Yeah, look at me go. Yeah.
Greg.
So I think, like, I'm really hoping that red light is an LED bulb, because if it's like one of those old incandescent ones, we might fluorescent.
Right. Chancellor
Yeah.
Woodson just needs to go ahead and buy some backups to be ready to change them out.
Yeah.
It's getting, there's no way it hasn't been on. It's been on every day this past week, I feel like.
Well, let me say this real quick about Cedric Bailey. So, like, obviously we talk about him being committed. It's a big deal for state recruiting wise. He's the kind of guy you want to get in the high school class because he is such a high upside. Like, if he busts, he busts. Okay, but you can't teach 6'6" at that the build. You can't teach that. That's just born that way. And he is very athletic. He was throwing to the number one player in the 2024 recruiting class. Jeremiah Smith is his wide receiver. So, and they just, I think did they just win a state championship, Greg? Do you know?
Who was that again? I'm sorry.
Cedric Bailey's high school team.
Yeah.
They haven't lost a game in like 2 years.
In Florida, right? So
4A, 5A. It's one of the higher leagues.
So just body frame wise, I'm not at all saying he's going to be like this guy. Just body frame, he kind of remind me of Lamar Jackson.
Bro,
Long,
I was thinking the same
skinny
thing.
dude. Like
great body comparison.
I just think that
his
about
release
him.
is the same.
Just to look at him.
Yep.
You watch his release. His release is very much like Lamar.
I can't imagine he's anywhere near like as a mobile like that. But
the running
doesn't need to be necessarily. But
he doesn't. He doesn't need to be as mobile as Lamar. But I feel
he doesn't need to be Lamar Jackson 2.0. Yeah.
Right. He is mobile, which is a huge thing as well. But I mean, just thinking about him throwing to a KC Concepcion and passing off to a Jordan Waters and the guys that we have coming in, I feel like that's just going to be Anai's going to have a blast this offseason creating the playbook for next year.
So what does our QB room look like right now? It's McCall, it's Thomas, it's Ethan Rhodes, it is Bailey.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're going to we've kind of talked about it. I think you're going to go after at least one more guy.
Right. Yeah. I'm just kind of saying where we're at at this point in time. Yeah.
We got 4 in there right now.
Yeah. I think you'll definitely have a 5. I mean, that's kind of where you want to be, 4 scholarship quarterbacks plus a walk-on. That's ideally your magic number there. But then, so what the one person that we haven't really talked about is I forgot his first name, but it's Wright.
Wyatt.
Linebacker
Wyatt
Wright. Which, by the way, Wyatt is a bad name, dude. I
I
love
like
that.
Wyatt. I like that
Yeah.
name too.
Yeah, it's a killer
We're
name.
all just hyping up their names, not
Yeah.
even thinking of this
Yeah.
player.
Dude,
Well, the
No.
hit that they showed on Twitter.
Oh my gosh, that hit was insane.
Did
they
you see
keep
that one?
replaying that tweet. It makes me think of Dravius Wright's hit on that Troy quarterback a few years
Oh,
ago.
yep.
Like it was,
Mhm.
yeah, big hit. Before Jordan committed, Wyatt Wright was my favorite of the three today, or the recent commits, the transfer portal, because he really does look like a guy he doesn't look like he necessarily needs a ton more weight room work, like to build up to where he needs to get to. Dude looks huge, and I don't know how many more seasons he's got left. I think he has like 2 or 3, but he's a JUCO guy. I like what I see from him. I want to watch more film on him because I don't have a ton I've watched on him yet, but
I feel like all you need is that one highlight going around Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
It
say
says
you say
everything.
that. You say that because that's an attitude and that's a want to as a physical player. Like
Yeah.
that's what you about. I want to compare him to Dravius Wright. Totally different position, but like Dravius is a hard hitter and he played physically. How is he in coverage? How is he able to really tackle and wrap up guys? That's what I want to see. So
well, that hit was in coverage. So, but still, your point.
I mean,
your point is
true.
I mean, we're losing
Larger sample size, I
the
guess.
beast himself, Peyton Wilson.
Yeah.
So having a linebacker
Mhm.
come in to take that spot, I mean, that's already a huge, everybody's going to be watching him. So I'm excited to see what he does on the field to be able to fit into that system and help us out.
I think he's at least on your 2 deep is what I think.
Yeah, I think you're bringing him in for that very point, is to come in and compete for potentially a starting job, if not 2 deep / special teams. You've got a couple of guys coming in at linebacker. You got a couple coming back. One guy we haven't talked about in a while, but his commit is Cannon Lewis from West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
But he could be someone that can come in and maybe get some special teams playing to begin the season. But I would think, and not getting too far ahead of ourselves, I think linebacker is a position where we're going to have to kind of take a look at to see where we're going to shake out. There's some rumors that maybe Sean Brown may end up filling that void where Peyton will be leaving. We will see if that maybe comes to fruition in a bowl game, maybe kind of a early audition for Sean Brown should Peyton not play in the bowl game.
Yeah, but so here's my thoughts on that, and I kind of want to get, Lindsay, I feel like I haven't heard from you say anything much because we've been taking over, so I apologize. But I just think with this team, way the transfers portal team has gone, I had my boss talk to one of my bosses talking about oh yeah, so you guys lost so much of your players in your team, and it stinks. And I was like, well, to me, what I see about it, and it's not a shot at those guys, but it was guys in the bottom end of the depth chart, and I feel like you are bringing in players right now that
are at the top.
I feel like it raises the floor, but I think it also raises the ceiling. So it's hard to I mean, what we're doing now is kind of cleaning out some of the house a little bit and getting some better depth there, so to speak.
Yeah.
Again, not bad. I just think the players are bringing in are really good. And you got guys like Justin on the call. I really think he helps raise your ceiling too. So
Definitely.
To me, before Lindsay speaks, to me it's like you're pruning a bush, right? Or like you're cutting some
your comparisons are the best.
a beard back, right?
Some split ends, right? Like you want it to grow fuller and well. So I think that's exactly what we're doing. So
I agree. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy. We've talked a lot in recent months about how much NIL has changed the entire concept of transferring. I think a lot of people are kind of stuck in the old way of seeing, people are transferring out from your school. That sucks for y'all. There must be something wrong there. You guys are going to have a bad season. But with NIL, it's not like that anymore. And I think we're seeing a lot more people transfer in general. And again, we're seeing people at that bottom of the depth chart, try to find opportunities elsewhere, whereas the guys we're getting in are guys that we feel confident can work together and raise that floor and that ceiling and can kind of build connections within this team. And that's really what you want. Even if you lose guys that you liked personally or had good plays, that doesn't mean your team is doomed. And also, as we kind of wrap up football, I don't know if we're live streaming on a different day next week, but Monday is Christmas Day. So this might be our last chance to discuss bowl game before the bowl game happens, except for our bowl game preview that we're going to film. So watch out for that, guys. But briefly, how are we feeling going into the bowl game? What are your expectations? What do you want to see?
I'm excited. Seeing all the people that are opting out for Kansas State, I feel like that's a huge plus side for us. I'm thinking that, I mean, this is Brendan Armstrong's last game, and I think he's going to continue what he did in those last few games during the regular season. I feel like that this team is wanting and hungry for that 10th win, and I think that I really think we'll get it this year.
Yeah, for me, I haven't heard anybody opting out of a bowl game yet. I'm not saying it's officially. I mean, if anybody's going to do it, you would think the only one who's most deserving to do that would be Peyton Wilson. And I don't think State fans at all would be mad or should be mad about that because he has done everything for this program.
For us.
For State. So just putting that out there. But
build a statue.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna build a statue. Yeah, I don't know if we're. I don't know if anybody's gonna sit out. To be honest with you, I think it's going to be. I wonder how much they want to play. I mean, like I know people talk about bowl games becoming. Yeah, I think like people talk about bowl games becoming less and less meaningful. But for me, like this is something special that you could do. It's a legacy thing for these players potentially. So go get it. Go do it.
And actually earning it this year, like knowing how. I mean, we got that 10th win a couple years ago, but it wasn't. You could tell from the guys on that team that it wasn't earned, and like it's a trophy that's like in the back corner. Like they count it, but they don't count it because it's not something that they worked hard together in order to get. So I think that this time that they get to actually work for that 10th win, that's going to bring a whole different level of determination and like grit that we're going to see.
I agree. I do see the point of view that bowl games have, at least to some extent, lost the meaning they once had or the weight they once had. But I think it varies bowl game to bowl game and team to team. And I think putting up that true deserved 10-win season is a huge deal and a huge morale booster as well, heading into the official offseason, I guess, after the bowl game. I have heard conflicting reports about Peyton. Of course, I'd love to see him play, love to see him contribute to that 10th win. But with all he's given this university, I would be just as happy for him to say, go Pack, I'm sitting this one out.
Right. Just be there. Have him there in person.
Exactly. But I have high hopes and would love to see this team get that 10th win before getting ready for the 2024 season.
I feel like that would be the perfect like intro to the 2024 season too, like how the season started this year. No one would have thought that we would be going for our 10th win during a bowl game at the beginning of the season, so that this could be our like little preview to next season. I feel like that would just add even more excitement to Wolfpack Nation and like the program going into it.
Yeah, I think you would have the official countdown as soon as that bowl game was over to the countdown of the season opener against I believe it's Western Carolina on August 31st, if I'm not mistaken. Not that I'm already looking forward to it, but
no, that's the one thing about I hate the off season because we have so many months until then.
Yeah, but we got other sports to keep us busy. So
basketball, baseball.
Yeah. So,
but hey, August 31st is early. We have an early start this year, so
that's true.
Yeah. So just real quick, summing up all the portal
we didn't even
stuff.
talk about Wesley.
Yeah, I know. That happened.
I think we touched on that last week.
Yeah, that did happen 2 Fridays ago. Or a Friday and a half ago, or whatever we were talking about. But
Friday and a half.
I don't know. All the days seem to melt away with the holidays.
When Greg doesn't have to plan tailgating, he gets all.
I know. So just a really quick recap. This tweet is just kind of like the position of the portal ranking. So you had Grayson McCall as the number 11 quarterback. We talked about Jordan Waters, the number 3 running back. Wesley Grimes, the number 25 wide receiver. Justin Jolie, number 2. So I think that the I think there's a couple more that we're lining up. We're looking at some probably, again, we said another quarterback. You're going to probably take another running back. And I think you're going to look for some defensive line help. I think that's pretty much what's left on the Christmas wish list here. You got 6 more days of shopping before the holiday, but the portal will continue for a little bit after the bowl season. And the one thing that we may still see is some guys entering their names in the transfer portal after the bowl season. So if you don't see that name that you're looking for, it's just not too late to have them jump on it after the bowl season.
And I think all of Wolfpack Nation deserves a little shout out before we switch modes. That NIL.
Hold on. I got you.
Oh, sorry.
There you go. So
everybody, Wolfpack Nation, pat yourself on the back. The fact that we're competing with schools like Tennessee to get that, or Justin Jolie. I know that Alabama was looking at Grayson McCall last year. So the fact that we're competing with these huge NIL schools that we've never thought we would at this point, that's huge. And I think that Tom Lavolsi is killing it. Obviously, he's built that statue too. I saw that on Twitter today.
Campus is going to be covered in statues.
Everybody, we need an NIL fund just for the statues.
I was just going to say that, Macon. I said we're going to need an NIL just to build statues.
I think
a statue garden.
Yeah, real quick. This tweet's kind of an important one. We pump up Savage Wolves and Pack of Wolves NIL all the time. Sometimes we don't always have money to give to these collectives, but this is a way to kind of you give back and again still easy get something. One. Yeah, this isn't super easy.
It's fun.
It is fun. Yeah. So this tweet real quick is, please join Savage Wolves on Tuesday for the first ever NIL day at Tobacco Road, North Carolina. By the way, this is the one in Raleigh, not the one in Durham. So that's a real important
yeah, don't go to the one in Durham.
Yeah. I mean, you can go there, but it just won't count. So, make it count.
The thought counts.
Yeah. All sales, not just,
That's
from
crazy.
dinner or lunch or whatever. All sales will go towards supporting North Carolina State football, lunch, dinner, delivery, or takeout. Make sure Tobacco Road is your go-to spot on December 19th. Looking forward to seeing everyone there. So it is from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. I know from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. a bunch of state folks will be there. I know Coach Doran. I know KC will be there. I think there'll be some other Savage Wolves.
Peyton
they're going to have
there.
Yeah, Peyton. Thank you.
Get some autographs while you're there.
Yeah, autographs, pictures. This might be one of your last opportunities to get a picture with Peyton. So if you haven't gotten that on your bucket list yet, go out there and take care of that. They'll have silent auction items. I'm sure they'll have some experiences as part of that. I know they had an experience where you could go watch the bowl practice. I know they have another experience coming up where you could go to NIL. National Signing Day. I'm sure there'll be some going to pro days might be one of those things that they might offer. So if you're interested in any of that, go out there and support Savage Wolves. If it's just going to go buy an appetizer, a meal, a beer, whatever it is, go take care of them because this is a really big deal for a business to give up their entire proceeds for one day.
I'd be curious to know how much they make in one day. Just got a few $100s at least, but close to $1,000 maybe, I'd imagine.
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So anyway,
crazy.
So this is your show. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Sorry. I was saying this is such a fun and easy way to support Savage Wolves. You feel like you're getting something out of it. And we talk about that a lot, that you are giving your money, but you get an experience out of it. There's an easy way to go out there, have a beer, eat food, hang out with these NC State folks, get your pictures and your autographs, and know that you're giving back to this program that we are so excited about for this upcoming season. So yeah, I hope anyone who's available can go out to Tobacco Road tomorrow.
Absolutely. All right. So switching gears, we don't have a slide for it, but we can talk about no doubt.
Yeah,
I wish
that's
I
what
was
I'm talking
there.
about.
I like it.
Put on 20 pounds for a good cause. Is what we're trying to tell you guys. So
I mean, hold on.
That'd be a great thing to say, a story to start.
That should be an auction, right? I feel like you could have a beer with Peyton Wilson.
Not Casey.
By the way, this is the Christmas season, so those pounds don't count, those calories don't count. So
exactly,
eat away.
20 pounds.
That's right.
Perfect timing.
All right, Kens, let's shift over. We want to do men's basketball or women's basketball. Maybe end on a high, so we'll go.
Let's start with
first
men's.
and women's. All right, cool. Go for it.
Yeah. how's everybody feeling about men's basketball? Let's hear some opinions.
So.
I mean, It's looking
Yeah.
I mean, there's good things. So like I think about the positive note. I think State I keep having the consolation. They played hard. I don't want to say that. Ugh.
Yeah.
They tried.
So they
never gave up.
I think probably the most notable thing is Cam Woods playing.
That was
And
huge.
I did see that the court ruled that he had there's a 14-day window for second time transfers to play in that 14-day window. Then I saw today that now that there's a court rule that they can play through the spring.
Mhm.
So he's done. He can play the rest of the season, it sounds like.
He's golden. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wonder if that means that basically means he can play now rolling into next year and all that. I don't know if that rolls over or what that looks like, but we get Cam Woods the rest of the way, and I think that's big for State. Cam was a really big playmaker on film that I saw. Really good with the ball in his hands, and yeah, I like that. I just feel like the team is not. They're enough for some people to say they don't feel they're really gelling just yet, all the way. And I think part of it too is there's so many depth pieces there that you're rolling with guys. You're like 8, 9, 10 deep, and
You're
on a
trying to
roster of
figure out
13,
yeah.
that's not as easy trying to figure out how do I play with, however different combinations you can have on the court at the same time. It's different. So yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like DJ Horn's been a bright spot. I think Taylor's had nice moments. I think DJ Burns had a nice moment. I think Casey has kind of been a little bit of a letdown lately. I think he had like 4 or 5 points in 24 or 5 minutes, and not great the other night.
Yeah, he's really struggling to find his shot.
Right. But they have moments where every other guy might have a good night here and there, but not enough guys doing enough stuff to me to get the wins. And Rice, O'Connell, I think about all those guys, Diarra, those guys are just trying to figure each other out. Middlebrooks.
Yeah, this is go ahead, Kenzie.
No, you go ahead.
So there's a positive note here from Andy. He says our 3 losses are all the top 25 teams now. We compete in 2 of them. The ACC competition isn't doing much better. But also, yeah, I think this team just isn't gelling yet. I feel like we have talent, but the talent isn't working together. Even at the UT Martin game, I feel like it took a long time for the team to get into it. Like, it didn't feel like we were playing to the full extent that we should be until well into the second half. And that happens, but playing down to the competition should never be the goal. We should use those quote unquote easier games as a way to gel and figure some stuff out. And I don't think State's doing that too well right now.
Yeah. I just feel like we haven't really had this issue, and it's not really an issue. All the talent we have on our team, we haven't really had that recently where we don't know which lineup to pick or how to make our lineup. And I feel like that's the main struggle right now, because it seems like we're just trying to get as many people in as possible to see what they can do and who they can do that with. And I think that once that gels and we get like a solid lineup going into ACC play, that's going to change everything around. But a lot of people are freaking out. Yeah, that we lost our biggest non-conference games, and that doesn't look really good for us going into tournament play. But I mean, we can ball out in the ACC, could win that, maybe not. I'm gonna be that optimist, win it, then go. But it's just, I mean, Tennessee is 12th team in the country, and we've held on to them until like the last 3 minutes. So I just feel like we're not giving this team enough credit, but we know the talent that we have on that team, and we just want all that talent to come out together at the same time.
Yeah, it was a game where, you go down at the half, down by 3. They go on a run. Then we cut it to 2. Then we go on about a 4-minute scoring drought, and they get the lead back up. And then we made another run down to 2, and then we kind of just fell apart, like you said, in the last 6 or 7 minutes of the game. I'm looking at the rotation here. Like, you have Diarra with only 5 minutes, and I know he's still maybe nursing that ankle. I'm not sure if that's still an issue, which is kind of mind-boggling that he only had 5 minutes. Middlebrooks with only 8 minutes. DJ with 33. I don't know if that's an optimal number for him at 33. You think maybe 28 to 30, 31 maybe. And though he did have 15 points, with I think 13 of that coming in the second half, we shot the ball really well, but the problem is they shot it just a little bit better in that second half. You look at the numbers, they were fairly consistent. It just, for whatever reason, the dude from Tennessee, of course, has a career night, and it seems like every time
little 5'9" dude. Good lord.
No. He's a big dude.
No.
Oh, the James dude. Yeah.
Yeah, James. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the gameplay was take away connect for
right. It worked. We did that.
They did that. They just
forgot about the rest.
They couldn't adjust to the other guys, and like to me, that is a mental thing to me.
Yeah.
And I think to kind of get there to where they're not. I don't know. I have my own opinions about it, but I think that there's some growth there that needs to happen. It needs to happen real quick. We play St. Louis next, and I don't think they're easy. So.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the raw stats, I mean, we shot 43% from the floor, 43.1. They shot 43.5. 3-point percentage was exactly the same for each team, 44.4. The difference is they hit 4 more 3-pointers, and guess what? You lost by 9. So that really is what the difference was. Yeah, I mean, the numbers were. I mean, they had a lot more assists. Blocks were basically even. Steals were basically even. Fouls were exactly even. Points in the paint, we outscored them in the paint by 2.
Outpainted them.
Outpainted them. We out Bob Rossed them. But yeah, sorry, that was horrible. But
I got you, Greg.
I mean, the stats were pretty equal, all things considered. We struggled at the foul line. We missed 7 free throws, so there's something there.
I'm looking here at some numbers to me that stand out. Offensive rebounds, they got 14 to our 6. That's a pretty
second chance points,
difference.
right?
Yeah.
Yep, second chance points. Assists, 22 to our 13. Like you said, go ahead.
Another big thing was the turnovers near the end of the game, like just like not good turnovers, like trying to throw the ball in and having
3 of those.
Yeah,
we had 3 of those. You can't inbound the ball.
Exactly, and it's like that's the most frustrating thing is like they scored on all 3 of them. So it's like
there's your difference right there, right?
Yeah, at that point, that is a mental game, and you have to understand, like, hey, if they do it once, they're going to try to do it again. And so, I mean, we just have to figure out how to play together, how to play strong and mentally tough the entire game, and not just a part of it.
Yeah. I'm just coming back and looking at the individual stats. I come back to Casey right now, man. 6 points in 32 minutes. He had 3 assists, but. That's a weak link right there offensively lately, and I think that to me is what I'm looking at here. State's gonna have to adjust to come together. I think Casey's gonna have to shoot himself out of it. I don't think it's his fault we lost or anything like that. I'm not saying that, but I just second chance points, offensive rebounds, and assists. That's a pretty notable difference. I will say another thing too, real quick. Look at the stats. State shot 72% on free throws. Now that's not the worst number in the world, but that is 18 for 25. That's 7 points you left off the board, and
lost by 9.
And well, Tennessee was 13 for 16, so they had less attempts than we did, but we had the bonus early, and we could capitalize on that. And I think the free throw number might be a little bit of a hurting thing too. So, yeah. So that's right.
I mean, our only solid free throw shooters right now are Taylor and Rice. Everybody else they'll usually split it 1 for 1 or miss both. And it's
Casey struggled from the foul line.
Yeah, like
free throws were a huge issue.
Yeah, so it's like that's just something that's always been an issue for state basketball, honestly, in my opinion. So the fact that we just gonna have to get that together. But last season, this is kind of like how it was last season. We didn't know how the team was going to play out because they weren't really gelling. And then they absolutely set it off during ACC play. So I still have hopes.
I think that happens for a lot of teams. here, like a comment says, often it's not how you start the season, but how you finish. Like, I feel like a lot of times it takes a while, and in basketball, that's more okay. In football, you only have 12 games or whatever to get the job done. But in basketball, you're kind of allowed that time to figure your stuff out and gel and get ready for your conference play. So I'm not too concerned. I think this happens pretty often. Like you said, this is a similar situation to last year, but there are areas that I would like to see improved,
Yeah.
as we go into the new year.
Yeah, those 3 games that you had a chance to take advantage of, those are gonna probably end up being quad 1, quad 2 opportunities that you've missed out on. 2 of the 3
It is what it
being
is.
neutral courts and 1 road game. The thing is and we kind of just mentioned a few minutes ago, this is shaping up to just like how last year started with we struggled a
I
little
hate
bit
that.
with the better competition out of conference, and then
Yep.
we did start 1-3 in conference play last year, but we were able to pull ourselves out of it. Right, wrong, or indifferent, the perception of the ACC always seems to be down as of the last couple of years. Can we fight through that perception? The one thing I will say that we didn't have in the tweets of the week was John Rothstein dropped the top 50 net rankings by conference. The ACC does have 6 teams in the top 50. So there will be some opportunities there to where you can make some ground. But
Who
it
are
does.
they? Clemson, Duke,
Yeah, probably
Carolina,
Carolina.
Virginia,
Yeah.
Florida State.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't have the actual teams here
Okay.
in front of me.
Okay.
But as a conference, we rank 3rd in that category. The Big 12 has 8 and the SEC has 7. But yeah, you're gonna have to get on the proverbial horse and get her going.
Yep.
So we'll see how we go. St. Louis and then Detroit Mercy, I think, and then
Yeah.
we're rolling into ACC play. I think the second ACC game is Notre Dame at home.
Yeah.
So
Show out for that. That'll be a good game.
For sure. All right, so we kind of talked about the negative with men's basketball. Let's go talk some women's hoops. Your lady Pack took care of South Florida over the weekend, 66-54. Yeah, it really wasn't even that close.
no.
I watched that game. Your second game in a row without Sanaya Rivers, who's been out with a back injury. That's a back. You kind of err on the side of caution. But again, River Baldwin just continues to step up for this team.
16 points,
16.
Yeah.
Yeah, double.
11 rebounds. Yep.
Yep.
3
That's a
assists.
baller.
Yeah. Zoe Brooks with the goggles in this game. First time I've seen her with the goggles.
Right? She balled out. She needs to start wearing them more.
Yeah.
She went off.
Yeah, another 12 points. We were 1 point shy from Mimi Collins from having all the starters in double figures. Another nicely done thing. First true road game of the season for the Lady Pack. They had played at that tournament down in the Virgin Islands, but this was their first road test down in Tampa. So that was exciting to see. Madison Hayes had a really nice game again. She's solid, just 12 points and locks down their best defender. Did struggle a little bit from the outside from 3-point land. That was kind of a concern, only shooting 20%. But as a whole for the game, we shot 50%. So you'll take that.
I will say though, my negative, I think it's a critique there for the game. I'll say 2 things I'm looking at: 3-pointers and free throws.
Free throws, they have struggled.
3 for 15. They shot 20% from 3. That is not good. And then free throws, so they were 50% on free throws. Not good.
Yeah.
They were 7 for 14. And if you were gonna, they've beaten top 10, top 5 teams this season already, so they can do it. But it's like, you can't. If you want to have the season you can't have those numbers.
Yeah.
Game you can, and really any game, in my opinion. If you want to be that good of a team, you need to do it convincingly. And things like free throws, there should be no reason we're shooting 50% free throws. And I'm sure Westmore doesn't like that, but a win's a win. So
they did hold South Florida 35% from the floor, so that'll win you a lot of ball games.
Yeah.
I will luckily, And luckily, South Florida shot 28%. They didn't shoot great either from three.
Yeah,
So
and that was the
And
thing
we
I was going to say. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Go ahead. We gave the men the benefit of the doubt of saying this early in the season. You notice the things that you need to work on and grow from there as you head into conference play. And I think, we hold the women to a higher standard because they've been playing so well.
mhm.
But I think, they also deserve the opportunity to notice that they're not shooting the 3-pointer well and they're not doing that well from the line and, reflect on that and fix it the same way the men have things to fix. So do the women. I agree that, a 3-pointer is a big part of the game and you can't go out there and shoot 20%. But when you are holding your teams to 35%, that will get the job done for now. So I think these are things they need to work on. The basketball season is long before they start to head into ACC play.
And I think it's helping them to understand, like, hey, we're not doing our best right now, but we're still number 3 in the country.
Exactly.
Like that's a huge thing to say. Like, we're not playing our best ball. So imagine how easily we could get to 1 if we could just start draining threes and making free
Right.
throws. So I
And
feel like
number
that-
3 for the 3rd week in a row, it says.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, State's shooting for the season. What is it? They're shooting 72.3% on free throws and 34.1%. So they just had a bad day shooting.
Yep.
And
Which
that was
happens
good
a
enough
lot.
because I will say to their positive, if you're not able to do that, you have to find other ways to win. And for them, it was more, I think, interior play. And they did that. So
Yeah. River Baldwin has just been really good. The South Florida's big didn't play, so it did make life a little easier for her. But when you hold your opponents to 35% shooting, you're going to probably win a lot of ball games.
Yeah.
Um,
And having that off day against a team like that, I mean, that's big. I'd rather have it over a team like that than having that kind of day against when we played UConn or when we played Colorado. So I feel like that was a big, like, awakening for them to understand, like, hey, yeah, we won. Yeah, we're undefeated, but we got to get it together so we don't have one of those days like that again.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't have my my stats just died, but I want to say we probably out rebounded them probably significantly. Do you have that in front of you, Macon? Oh, here we go. Mine finally
sorry,
came
say it
up.
one more time.
I think we just out rebounded them pretty significantly. Yeah, 42-28. That was a big thing, and then offensive rebounds, and I mean, you look at this, and we just dominated the game. Turnovers, you probably want to clean that up a little bit. 11 turnovers. But again, we're saying all of this without arguably your best player on the team not playing with Sanaya Rivers. So this is a team that is finding ways to win when your best player isn't on the floor. So
And
I
still
think,
gelling really well together as well.
yeah.
It's a huge thing.
So anyway, State will play their last game of the year. No, I'm sorry, they do play on the 31st against UVA, but they have another road game at Old Dominion on Wednesday night. I will be making the drive down for that game, so that'll
Nice.
be exciting. Old Dominion is 8-1, though they haven't really played a very competitive schedule, I will say. But give credit to them; they have gone out and won the games that they should be winning. And then we in the year, another road game still in Virginia at UVA on the 31st. So that will be State's first ACC game of the season. But lots of good things to see, and this team just continues to win. The only bad thing is South Carolina is still winning, and they're getting all the votes for number 1. They were unanimous again. With all 35 votes going in their way, but early bracketology has shown them as a 1 seed, so that is good. Just could go out and win ball games. Any other last thoughts on women's basketball?
No.
Nope.
Well, good.
All right. I guess the last thing we can probably mention is actually we got 2 more things we can hit before we close this up. But go ahead and take this one, Kens.
The beast himself, Bradley Chubb. There's not enough positive things to say about him. He balled out at State and he's balling out in the NFL. He's one of the people you don't want to see, the offense doesn't want to see going up against. And I think he'll definitely make it to the Pro Bowl easily. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that he's gonna be one of those guys that's like the top 5 to be able to make it to the Pro Bowl.
Yep, for sure. He just continues to dominate. I think, that Miami team is really dangerous as long as Tua doesn't get hurt or start throwing interceptions. But yeah, I think Bradley Chubb. I think there's a couple of guys that are really having really good seasons. BJ Hill's having a nice season with the Bengals.
Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby. He had a nice game last Monday night. Was it Monday night? I feel like it was Thursday night. I think it was Thursday night when they destroyed who did they? San Diego? Was it San Diego? They beat the heck out of. Jacoby's had a nice season. Jermaine Pratt's had a nice season. So yeah, Pac Pro's continuing to do great things.
All out.
Yeah. So we do have a Tuffy's mailbag question. So let's go ahead and we'll jump over to that real quick. So let's do it real quick. Okay, it's not coming up. I thought we had it, and now it's not. Good old. Here, it's coming up now. There we go.
Nice. Okay.
Go for it, Kens.
Does KC still have a large role in the state offense with all the new additions? I think that's
Nope. Next question.
Yep.
I think that's it.
KC who?
I think that's it.
Throw him in the trash.
1 year wonder.
Like,
Never heard of him.
Casey has not even reached his full potential yet, and that's a scary sentence to say. The fact that he is already doing the stuff that he did as a freshman, I feel like he's still going to be that go-to guy and still definitely going to be that fan favorite. Like, he's one of those guys that's not just present on the field, he's present off the field, around campus, at basketball games. Like, he's one of those guys that you enjoy being around. He's a good person, good personality, and I think that I can't even imagine what the ceiling is for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a totally all-in NC State guy, one of the first guys to say he was coming back for next season. Like you were saying, he was at basketball Tuesday night.
Yeah, against UT Martin.
Yeah, UT Martin. My days are all blending together too now, Greg. But yeah, a guy you see around campus, you like to see is kind of a face of this team. And I think the goal of the new additions is to take some of that pressure off KC to allow more room for other people to grow and also help this team out. But I don't think that takes away from who Casey is or what he's doing. I think he's still going to be that guy we're going to turn to. I think he still has so much room to improve, even though he had such a standout rookie season. So I think, Casey is still the go-to guy, but the additions allow him to grow and not have as much pressure on him personally.
Yeah. Like, not have him triple teamed the entire time. Like, when you see Casey come in this past season, it was like all eyes were on Casey. Now it's going to be who is Anai going to go to this time? Like, it's going to be harder for defenses. And I think that's the only thing that is going to take eyes away from Casey is the fact that you're not going to know who Anai is going to pick for that play. But I think Casey is still that player that would put all your money on in a tight game situation last drive. So I don't think it's going to change at all.
Yeah, for me, it's going to do two things. One, it's going to actually give him more ability to get open. Now they won't be able to double team or just focus solely on KC. You'll have other weapons, and then, like we had said earlier, it's about choose your own misadventure, right, and find ways to make him effective. And then I think the other thing too is going to keep him fresh. I don't think he's going to need to get 10, 15 targets, touches a game. I don't think you'll see him lined up in the backfield as much as you did. There's no doubt that towards the end of the season that he was getting kind of banged up.
Yeah.
So I think this will just keep him that much more fresh, and that it will probably open up the playbook. And some of that too was just by design, based on our quarterback situation, running back situation. So I think you're gonna see him in a more dynamic role. I think you're gonna see him, much more out in space and be that.
I think his efficiency will go up because people are not focused on him as much.
Yeah,
I think he's not gonna get as many touches.
Yeah,
right.
But I think that's better for NC State that he doesn't get as many touches, and I don't think you'll see him use anywhere near as much as running back. I think he's good enough to do that, and they will still do that at times. but you don't want that at your state. You want him to get catches in the slot where he would just tear people apart. So
yeah, you want to utilize his speed and space.
Yeah, I think he's definitely also going to be that leader for that offensive team coming up, and that's a huge deal as well. Like, not only like we always talk about state growing players on the field and off the field, and I think him going to be a sophomore and being able to be in that leadership position and being able to like mentor these guys coming in, I feel like that's going to be a big deal for him that can also be beneficial on the field as well. So
for sure. All right. Do we have any last minute things that we didn't really cover that we want to spend a minute on before we wrap the show?
I would just say last thing would be shout out to gymnastics. They had their red and white exhibition this past weekend to kind of kick off their season before officially starting after the holidays with a meet at Georgia. Seemed to have gone really well. They shared some highlights on Twitter if you guys want to check those out. And their red team won, but for those of you who don't know, they play exhibition playing each other. But yeah, super excited for what should be a really successful gymnastics season and the first ACC gymnastics season. So I'm sure we'll get into that more after the holidays as the season kicks off. But just shout out to them as they get ready for
do
competition.
their thing like they always do.
Yeah. Just real quick, like you had mentioned earlier, Lindsay, housekeeping, we won't have a live stream next week. Everyone, enjoy your holiday, whatever holiday it is that you celebrate.
Imagine will we have it the week after that on the 1st?
Oh yeah, New Year's
Probably
Day?
not. Probably not. So,
Probably not. Yeah.
yeah, maybe we'll do one on Tuesday or Wednesday, just to kind of recap the bowl.
I could see that.
We'll probably
It'll be a little
talk
bit
about
different
whatever.
here scheduling wise. So
Yeah, the holiday always does that. But I know myself, Ken's, and Michael Tracy will be at the bowl game. So I hope some of Wolfpack Nation makes the trip down. We may even do a live watch party. I don't know if that's something we might be interested in doing. So as always, just kind of follow us on Twitter for any kind of updates like that. But want to wish all you guys out there and then the team here happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa,
Hanukkah
if you celebrate that. Yeah, so it's a great time to be with friends, family, and football.
Fans too.
The 3 Fs. So anyone else with a last minute alibi before we wrap?
Nope. You said it all.
All right, Wolfpack Nation. Well, we appreciate you. Ken's great job on hosting your first episode.
Appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you all for bearing with me.
Yeah, you did great. You and I think we'll be doing the bowl preview. Hopefully, we maybe get a couple others on. So, kind of be on the lookout for that later this week. And as always, Wolfpack Nation, we love you.